Welcome to Cottage Talk Full Time. I'm Russ Goldman. Joining me right now is Emilio Danello. This is our initial reaction show to Fulham's 1-1 draw at Turf Moor. And as the title says, it was a drab draw at Turf Moor. So, Emilio, before we get going and I get your initial reaction, I want to ask everyone who's going to be watching us live this question, and we want to know how you feel about it. Was this 1 point gained or a missed opportunity? If it's 1 point gained, please give us a thumbs up in the comments section. If it's a missed opportunity, meaning 2 points lost, please give us a thumbs down. We want your thoughts. We want to gauge how you feel about this draw because, again, there are so many ways you can look at it. We want to know how the fans feel, the supporters feel after this 1-1. As you said, Emilio, we call it a drab draw. So, while we wait for some comments and some maybe thumbs down and thumbs up, give me your initial reaction.
Yeah, it certainly was a drab draw. It was a pretty awful game, to be honest. It's a game that you'd see if they were showing the highlights of the weekend. It'd be the last game on the television to be shown. It was
horrible to watch.
It was horrible. It was our first half was very, very poor. We looked better, strong in the second half, but it was uncharacteristic of us. Our overall performance over 90 minutes just wasn't good enough. If you ask me that question, I think it's a point gained on the basis of our performance. But before the game, you would have expected it to be more than just only a point. But 2 seasons ago, we would have lost that game. But we fought, we battled, and I think the 1-1 draw was a fair result. But it's Burnley a poor team. But we were giving the possession away too cheaply. Our passing was off throughout the whole game. They bullied us from the first whistle right down to the end of the game. Their touchline was complaining about every foul that we're
going to talk about that.
It's a difficult place to go to traditionally, with fans or without fans. But we came away with a point. I think it was a fair result, like I mentioned. But it was just an ugly performance. But look, I'm saying Steve, point gained, but needed 3 points. I agree with you. We needed 3 points, but on that performance, given that it felt like we had a bit of a hangover from the Everton game, I'd take 4 points from those 2 difficult away games. If you'd asked me on Saturday, 4 points from Everton and Burnley, I would have said absolutely give them to me, and we've done that. And so we push on unbeaten. Another game, we didn't crumble under pressure. We made a lot of needless fouls. Possession wasn't good enough.
Nope.
We were bullied throughout, and I've said this after the Everton game on Sunday for those who watched. This game was always going to be difficult. Burnley will not give us space. Burnley will press us, push us, bully us, and force it to mistake. And that's exactly what they did. So am I surprised that we underperformed today? No, I'm not surprised, because this is a game like we did with Brighton. We don't respond against teams who make it difficult for us to play football, and we seem to struggle against those teams. And I worry the Sheffield United game is going to be the same. They're ugly to watch. They're not pretty, but they'll make it difficult for us. Have we got enough quality? Our passing just was all over the place today. So overall, it is a point gain based on that performance, but on reflection, maybe we didn't really do enough to win that game.
No, we didn't do enough to win it, and I still look at it as a point gain. And as we started the show, and if you're just joining us, please feel free to share your comments. Was this a point gained or a missed opportunity for Fulham? And if it's a point gained, you feel that way, please give us a thumbs up. And then if you disagree, obviously thumbs down on that. Give us your comments. We'll share it, because we want to try to gauge how everyone's feeling about it. But if you would have asked me before the match, Emilio, you already said you would have taken a draw. I did a preview show with Giannis. I said a draw. I said 1-1. So I'm not happy to be right about the score. I'm certainly not happy, because there was I think that, again, am I happy that they just got a draw? No, I'm not happy, but I will take the point. I do think it's a point game, because they did not play that well. But, you can look at it and say, obviously it's a missed opportunity, but they did not deserve it. So I'm just going to go with a point game. That's how I'm looking at it. But as I was thinking before the match, that I would have taken the point, and everything that I was concerned about going into the match, the pressing, like you had mentioned, I was afraid of how that was going to look. And it played out how my fears were. They pressed us. They bullied us, as you said, Emilio. And we're going to talk about the theatrics of Burnley's coaching staff and their players. And, and again, I lost a little respect for Sean Dyche and his team after this match. Again, I don't watch Burnley each and every week, but they were complaining about every little thing. And we're going to talk about that, because that, to me, took away from the match a little bit. A team that plays as physical as they do, really, you're going to react like that? I'm sorry.
To be honest,
That was just too much for me. But
you look at it from they always look more dangerous. We gave away too many cheap free kicks.
We did.
That's where they get most of their productivity and their goals, from set pieces, from corners, from free kicks. They made it difficult for us. We were bullied into making mistakes. Anderson, even there in injury time, what the hell are you making that foul for? You put the team under unnecessary pressure. There's no need to commit a foul there. But we did that throughout the whole 90 minutes. So it was a poor performance. We looked a little bit hungover from the Everton result on Sunday. Yeah, it's 2 points dropped or 2 points lost, but turf ball is never an easy place to go to. Yep. So let's take the point and let's freshen up and take the game to Sheffield United on Saturday. That's going to be a tough game as well. Home advantage doesn't count in that game. They're going to be doing exactly what Burnley did.
Yep.
Be physical, bully us, force us into mistakes, and hope they'll get us snatching a penalty or a cheap goal to give away. So I think the Sheffield United game is not a foregone conclusion. We've got a battle in that game as well. So get yourselves fit, guys. Go back to the training ground and prepare for that game mentally and physically, because that's a huge game. Get 7 points from 3 games. I think most of the people watching us today, most of our fans will have been happy and would have taken that.
Okay. I'm going to share some comments. And when we talk about the Burnley reaction, I will share a comment from a Burnley supporter and give him his fair due as well. He obviously feels differently than I do. So don't worry, my friend. I will share your comment when we get to there. So Daniel Cronrath says, Burnley aren't easy to play. I'll take a point. Our friend Steve Lydiard, point game, but needed the 3 points. Here's from Dominic Versace. We play better against better teams. This is what you said, Emilio, and play poor against poor teams. Now, I don't know if I would say Burnley are a poor team. I know you were kind of going there. I would just say that they are a difficult team to play against. Style-wise, I don't like the way they play, but they are a tough team. I don't know if I call them a poor team, but I understand where you're going on that. Ralph Leach then goes right here. Saturday is a win or bust. Okay, well, again, we'll have to see.
Every game is a win or bust now.
Yeah, I mean,
every game's a cup final now. So
right, exactly. David Allen says crap game, but a point better than nothing. Burnley have always been one of the bogey clubs. And listen, this is something that we've talked about. I said throw out the records, throw out all that at Turf Moor. There are no crowds. But again, listen, I want to give a lot of credit to Burnley. They are a tough team to play against. And I don't think that they are a poor side. I just think that they're a bad matchup for Fulham, and they play tough. And, we struggled against it. But I think in the second half we played better. But, again, I think a draw is a fair result. That's the way I'm looking at it. Yeah. Emilio.
Yeah, absolutely. But, at the end of the day, it's, what Stefan says is exactly my point. We didn't get into our stride. I agree with you, Stefan. We were very average today, but, we survived. We hung on for a draw at time. And to be honest, let's reflect on Lookman's, that chance at the end. I know Chris Davidson's listening. We had a bit of a offline conversation of me maybe, calling Lookman out on Sunday, missing too many chances, his final ball not good enough. He was awful tonight, sorry. He was our biggest player before Christmas, and he was our most, in terms of what he could offer. But he's been let down for the last 2 months. Today, that chance at the end, you've got to do better. You've got to hit the target. Put the goalkeeper under pressure. But what does he do? He blazes it over, tries to place it in the top corner. His pass, just generally, I'm not calling him out specific. The whole team were very poor today. But this debate about Lookman, is he offering enough? Is he our danger player at the moment? He's not. On current performance, he needs to step up, to be honest, if he really wants to make a difference in his team.
Yep, I hear you, Emilio. I totally hear you. Well, listen, let's start with really breaking down the first half, and there really isn't many positives to talk about the first half because, again, Burnley were the better side in the first half, and they had an opportunity late in the first half, but it was a great save by Areola that saved us, I guess you could say, going into the half. I was just happy to go into the half at 0-0. Your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. They had a. I can't remember who the striker was, but they should have scored. We should have been 1, possibly even 2-0 down that first half. Areola looked very nervous.
Good. They were good in the first. They were definitely good in the first half.
Mariola wasn't looked very nervous in that first half. He didn't have a particularly good first half. He made that important save, but before that, his punching wasn't very clear. He was getting bullied by the Burnley attackers. That was the thing. I think
Burnley were better.
Should have scored. I think it was Tarkowski who should have scored. I can't remember who it was now, but overall, poor first half. What was our possession in that first half? Very, very low, to be honest. Yeah. Burnley on top, should have been ahead. And overall, we were maybe fortuitous to go at halftime 0-0, and we regrouped and we came out a lot stronger. Obviously, Scott Parker had a gentle word in the players' dressing room, and obviously we came out a slightly different team. But yeah, just our passing wasn't good enough, and it goes back. Is it Fulham not good enough? Was it Burnley had their tactics spot on, not giving us the impression? That's the issue. They did a job on us.
I want to give them credit, and again, we're Fulham supporters. We're going to pick at what Fulham did. And listen, the passing was terrible. I'm not going to give excuses, but listen, the weather was a factor too. Okay, the weather definitely was. I don't think that they were prepared for the weather, the wind, and and I think that played a factor. But that's still on the players. You have to adjust to the weather. It was definitely a factor in this match. They had to adjust, and obviously Burnley knows how to play in that weather, and they dealt with it very well. But for me, this goes to what Everton didn't do and what Burnley did do, especially when we talk about Burnley, especially in the first half. They pressed Fulham, and they were the better side. I can't get past that.
Let's look honest. Burnley 2 weeks ago, they came from behind to beat Aston Villa at home. Yep. They went to Anfield and beat Liverpool. So come on, this is Burnley are never an easy team to beat. They're a tough place to go to. They've got some physical players. They've got a settled Premier League team as well. They don't spend much money in the transfer. They pretty much rely on a stable, steady team, and they do a job. To be honest, none of us would like to watch Fulham play like that. But I'd rather stay in the Premier League rather than try to play fancy football and get relegated. So at the end of the day, Burnley were the stronger team in that first half and should have been ahead. We were lucky to go in at 0-0.
Okay, all right. Let's talk about this now because I want to talk about as we said, the gamesmanship, because I have a Burnley supporter who's watching us right now and disagrees with my thoughts that he basically said that Scott Parker did the exact same thing. I'll share it in just a second, but I'm just going to put up this banner. Describe Burnley's gamesmanship. Now, again, they really went crazy over Ruben Loftus-Cheek's foul. That's where this all began. The bench went crazy, and they were, again, reacting throughout the match, and again, whenever a Fulham player, it seemed like got even close to them, they were going down. They were, and again, if it was, even close to them, they were reacting and I'm thinking, this is a physical team. Why are they reacting like that? Yeah. So I'm going to ask you, describe Burnley, describe their gamesmanship. Am I wrong to bring this up? No. And I want to share this because I want to give this Burnley supporter some credit because he actually did comment and credit to him for commenting on this Fulham show. But, he said, well, listen, Scott Parker did the same. What are your thoughts?
It's, how many times was Barnes on the floor, to be honest? He was constantly diving on the floor, complaining. You heard Sean Dyche on the bench effing and blinding every time there was a foul on the touchline. It's just, they're an absolute joke. I better not say what I think on air, otherwise this program needs to be.
Okay, I'm just sharing the comments from this Burnley supporter. Says, why wouldn't we complain? Few instances when you were going in for our legs. I don't agree with that at all. I'm sorry, I don't agree with that. But you're entitled to your opinion.
I didn't see that. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. I just don't like the theatrical diving, looking for penalties, looking for free kicks, complaining to the referee, shout. That I don't like. That's poor gamesmanship from Burnley. And at the end of the day, Loftus-Cheek deserved a yellow. That was not a red card. So I don't know what planet these guys want to be. I'm being, me. I'm unbiased. I'm not biased towards a club if there's something that's not right. But Brady, why didn't he get a second yellow card for that? At the end of the day, why did Sean Dyche substitute a substitute? So he knew that Robbie Brady was on the verge of getting another foul. He would have been off.
That's right.
So Sean Dyche did the right thing and took him off. So very lucky. Burnley should have been down to 10 men. That was 2 yellows.
Well, I'm gonna I'm gonna ask the question again. If we're being fair, if there are Burnley supporters that feel that, and I don't know this, if Ruben Loftus-Cheek should have gotten a red, shouldn't Robbie Brady have gotten his second yellow?
Yeah. That was 2 yellow cards.
If we're being fair,
if he wasn't on a yellow, he would have got a yellow for the second offence. So therefore,
that's the point.
You don't. Steve Lydiard, obviously. What do you think? Obviously, if you're listening, and I'm assuming you think he should have got second yellow card and should have been sent off. So, but I just don't like their antics on the pitch. That's how they play. And it's kept them in the Premier League for a number of the seasons. So if we have to do that a bit more this season to stay in the Premier League, then it may not be a preferred choice. But for me, it's we've got to stay in the Premier League. If we have to start resorting to Burnley-style tactics, I'm sure most of us will accept that rather than playing football and getting relegated. But I don't like the way they play.
Okay, here's a comment from our friend Tony Gold. Burnley had a game plan. It worked to some degree. Couldn't watch that crap every week. Now, again, I'm not a big fan of it, but, it works. Say what you want. It works. I'll give Sean Dyche all the credit for what he has done at Burnley, the mentality, the identity that they built there. It really works for them. I just don't like it. I
don't want to watch that every week, but if I have to play more, if I have to watch the team playing more physical, more aggressive, and it gives us more chance to stay in the Premier League, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
if you want to play your boy out of trouble, Scott Parker, and get more draws, maybe that's not enough. So maybe we have to be a bit more physical. We have to rough it up. Be a little bully some of these teams a bit more as well.
Yeah,
they were just very passive, very lethargic, and very slow. We made it too easy for Burnley as well, but given their dues,
we did.
That's the way they play, and we struggle to adjust. Why did Liverpool struggle to beat them at home? They lost at home to Burnley. Why? Same reasons. If you watch that game, same thing. They did a job on Liverpool, and they won.
That's right, and we're giving them their fair due because, again, as Tony said, they had a game plan. This is how they play. It's effective. It has kept them in the Premier League, and maybe Fulham should even look at how that they play to somewhat to be a little bit more aggressive at times because, again, this team knows how to stay in this division. So I'll give them credit. I wouldn't want to watch it every week, but it works. You have to ask yourself, does it work? Do you want to watch this? Probably not, but you got to give them credit. And like you said, they've given other teams fits. You just name them. So again, if you look at it in that context, go back to what we talked about at the beginning. Is it a point gained against a team like this? Like I said, I predicted a draw because I thought it's not a bad point. And I'm going to be honest. I thought it would be a decent point against Burnley because I knew this was going to be difficult. I knew it was going to be hard. I knew it would be very difficult. And I thought, okay, fine. The Sheffield United match, you and I talked about this off air. Not that I wanted to put more importance on that, but if you look at it, that's a more winnable match. It is.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a more winnable match. I knew that going in. Am I disappointed that they didn't get all 3 points? Yes, but they didn't deserve it, Emilio. I can't get past that. They didn't deserve to win this match.
Yeah, and I'm looking at some of the comments here from Lee Manning. We needed quicker and more accurate passing. Exactly. I don't think we didn't have that luxury today. They were pressing us. We were making poor mistakes, giving the ball away cheaply, conceding too many free kicks. It felt a bit like the beginning of the season when all we kept doing is giving away cheap free kicks. So, that wasn't our way of, that wasn't a football that we're accustomed to playing. But again, Burnley did a job on us. Nick Blomek, Lookman and Loftus-Cheek not offered much today. Only having one attacker on the bench today really hampered us. Caban and Kamara not perfect by any means, but that would have given us options to switch it up. And I think that's a fair point. We were talking before the game. Our bench was very weak. Which game changes did we have on the bench today? We didn't have any.
We didn't, and I think that actually hurt Fulham today.
Yeah. There's no game changes on that bench.
No, definitely not. All right. Coming up next, Emilio and I will talk about the second half, get our thoughts on the second half, and we're going to ask the question, who was man of the match? Because I'm still shaking my head. Who was man of the match, Emilio? I don't know who you would put as man of the match because I don't know if there were any performances that I could really single out.
No, not at all, to be honest. I thought the whole team were very average, to be honest. It's I don't think there was a man of the match. Who can you get? The goalkeeper, normally we give the goalkeeper a lot of man of the matches for keeping us in the game. He had a very mixed game. I thought, Anderson gave away a few cheap free kicks. Tosin, I've mentioned it a couple of times, seems to be not making a few mistakes. I think maybe we should reflect on the goals in the second half in a moment. I thought Tosin, was a bit naive, in the lead up to their goal. Lemina, if you turn the clock back, also conceded possession very cheaply in the lead up to their goal. So overall, I don't think there was a man of the match, to be honest. I don't know. No one stands out for me. I'm looking.
Okay.
Chris Davidson's popped up, and I'm not sure who he's referring to about playing really well today, but hope you're not mentioning Lookman because, we had this conversation offline and, to be honest, Chris, what you said to me, Loftus-Cheek doesn't convert his chances. Sorry, where was Lookman today? So, so anyway.
Okay. Let's get to talking about the second half. But we actually have to start with how Fulham came out in the second half. I thought they came out positively, and they've got themselves a corner, and guess what, Emilio? They scored. Now, this is one of these ugly goals. I don't care how it goes in the back of the net. I don't care that it went off of Aina and that it hit a few people. I don't care. I don't care that Robbie Brady, of all people, actually kicked it in. I don't care.
Yeah.
They scored the goal, but again, it was the initiative to start the second half. Obviously, something was said at halftime.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I mentioned it against Everton, a game on Saturday. I think maybe our luck started to turn, and that goal was a good indication of that. Maybe 3 or 4 games ago, that would have gone, either side of the post. It wouldn't have gone in or cleared off the line. But there's some moments where I'm seeing a bit of luck coming our way. And, Aina didn't know much about that. And obviously, Robbie Brady failed to clear it off the line. So thank you very much. I'll take that. It was ugly, like you mentioned. But
I have to share this from our Burnley supporter that's watching.
Yes. Fair point. But, well, he would have been man of the match if he had been sent off.
Yep.
And clearly he wasn't. So, but, you take ugly goals. They all count.
Exactly.
Like I said, a few games ago, that wouldn't have gone in the back of the net. There's a bit of luck starting to go our way. And if we can get more of this luck, then, we've got every chance to stay up in this division.
Now, I want to share this comment from our friend Colin Fraser, who's watching. And this is a good point. This is something that you said to me off air. I could name so many Fulham sides of the past that would have lost that game. That's a great point. So in that vein, if you're going back to that, this is a point gained.
Yeah.
If you look at it that way, Colin, it's a point game because normally you would think that Fulham would lose this. If you go back 2 years ago, we played Burnley at Burnley. We lose that game. Again, this team found a way to get a point. And as you said, Emilio, obviously, I don't feel they deserve to win it, but they had an opportunity at the very end from Lookman. Again, we'll go back to that.
Look at Chris's comment. I'm not. If you listen to me, Chris, I said the whole team played poorly, but you've got to do better there. You said Loftus-Cheek missed chances. Lookman's missed another chance. But you've got to hit the target there. I don't care whether you're Lookman, Loftus-Cheek, you've got to hit the target. And he failed miserably. What else did he do today? Sorry, I am entitled to single him out. If you don't like it, Chris, then you don't listen, okay?
Okay, very good. All right, Emilio. Now, what's interesting about it is that after the match was over, I was watching NBC Sports with Danny Higginbotham, and this is what he said. And this goes back to what happened with the goal from Burnley, because I want to talk. Again, and listen, this was a good goal for them, and we have to give them credit for the goal. But we have to talk about, again, how Fulham played on this, because who's at fault for the Burnley goal? Because Tosin, again, Rodriguez went right by Tosin, but you had a different thought on who's responsible for the Burnley goal. So let's talk about it, because again, what's interesting about it, it was Robbie Mustoe, and who formerly played in England. Then of course you have Danny Higginbotham, and they said that the danger time is right after you score, because your guard's down and the other team is looking to respond, and that might have shown, and again, I'm paraphrasing, a little bit of our naivete, our that we have so many young players that, again, we weren't fully on for these moments right after they scored. But again, who's at fault for the goal?
Clearly, if you look at it just purely from the cross, it was Tosin. Tosin was very naive there, but turn the clock back 30 seconds earlier, if I recall rightly, Lamina gave away the ball very, very cheaply. Gave away possession. Burnley do what they do, but one hoof the ball upfield. Tosin got caught out, and they were very direct at the end of the day. So it's twofold. I think I've said Tosin hasn't been the same player the last 5 or 6 games. He's made a few mistakes, a little bit more naivety, a bit too enthusiastic at times. Got on the wrong side of the player, and he got caught out today. But equally, I thought Lamina maybe again did that all. We did that all 90 minutes. We were giving the ball away cheaply, but that cost us. He was in a decent position midway through their half, and gave the ball away far too cheaply for me. So that led to Burnley doing what they do best, route one, and they scored.
Okay. All right. Now, after that, and again, I was listening to Tony Gale, and Tony actually thought that Fulham played much better in the second half. And again, Tony's a former Fulham player, and he keeps that bias to his side. He's actually, I think, a pretty good analyst where he doesn't, he plays it both ways. He'll tell you honestly his thoughts, and he thought that Fulham actually played much better in the second half, and I agree with Tony on that, but it certainly wasn't good enough. But when you look at Fulham's play, and again, made some substitutions, but I just want to go right to this because, again, we're talking about this. And Chris Davidson, I'm very sorry that we're going to go right here and we're going to talk about it. But I think we have to talk about, at the very end, Lookman's miss, because, again, we've seen this before. For all the endeavor, for all the good play that he gives you, he needs to score at the very end of this match, Emilio.
Yeah.
When we look back at this, and I know fans are going to say this, it's a difference between 1 and 3, right? But, Fulham didn't deserve all 3 points, but he could have stolen it for Fulham.
Yeah.
And at some point, we need these players to score. And then they were actually talking about that when you're in a relegation scrap like that, you need goals. You need match winners. This was the opportunity. I'm not trying to single him out, but you have to look at this. This is a miss for Fulham, and unfortunately, I do like Ademola Lookman, but we need him to score. We need him to be more clinical. He's just not clinical enough. You said this on the last show. Yeah,
many times I've said it. I'm not singling him out. I'm just being very honest. If you look at his performances since COVID, he's not the player he was before Christmas. That's all I'm saying. That's factual. If anyone disagrees with me, then say so. But I'm just saying he was our key player in the other side of Christmas. He was terrorizing defenses, threatening set pieces. He's a different player. Something's not right here. We're seeing maybe the player that Everton saw when he was playing for them a few seasons ago. Physically not strong enough, final ball not consistently good enough. And, in that chance, you've got to hit the target. Maybe not, I'm saying scoring would have, you're in a great position there, whether that's Loftus-Cheek, Tom Kearney, Mitrovic. As an attacking player, you've got to do better from there. And you don't get many chances in this division. And that was our chance, like you said, to nick 3 points. But, and it goes begging. We go to Sheffield United on Saturday and try again.
Right. And I'm just gonna share some more comments because the fans commenting on Lookman. Lookman was very average today.
Can I tell you what I said to you off air? Listen, I said to you, if we stay up in this division with the current squad, I would not sign Lookman based on the last 2 months' worth of performances. He was a big player for me before Christmas, and I loved him, and I've defended him. I've been his number one fan. But based on the last 2 months' performances since he's had COVID, not the same player. Okay. Would I sign him today if we stayed up? Probably not. Okay, very good. All right. I do want to share this because, again, Chris, I don't think we've been singling you out, but I haven't said anything about Lookman. No, we're just saying in general going back to the last match. That's all. Not even about this match, Chris. So, no offense, Chris. No, I'm just being factual. I'm not picking up here. I'm just stating facts. Yeah. If people don't like to listen to facts, then they can switch off and not listen to me.
Okay, and I'll just share one more comment from Stefan, who gives us some good comments. Lookman also not strong to bully defenders, and that's actually a good point, Stefan. And this is a team, like I said, this goes back to, I do respect Burnley. I have a lot of respect for them because they know how to grind out results. They know how to win. They actually know how to win. Fulham is still trying to figure out how to win. And I think we saw a team still, again, they had the great victory against Everton. They look great. But when you have a team that is physical against you and bullies you, you're going to have to step up to that. And unfortunately, the players, like I said, I just don't think that, again, it's not that they weren't up for it. It's just that they struggled against this physical side. They struggled. They struggled against the press. And hopefully they will learn from this because there's a decent side in here with Fulham. And by no means am I giving up on the season. And this goes back why I think it's a point game, because I believe in this team. I think this team is going to stay in the division. I will continually say that. And I don't see this as a terrible result. I don't see it as a missed opportunity because I was predicting a draw. So that's kind of where I'm going on it. I just thought if they could get a result, I just didn't want them to lose, Emilio.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's terrible to say because obviously I want them to win, but I thought it was more important that they did not lose this match, that at least they have some kind of momentum going into the other two matches because, as I said, that Sheffield United match, as people keep pointing out to me, yes, you need to win that match. I agree. You need to win that match.
The question being said is, we're not talking about Lookman, but just saying Ben Lawrence saying maybe he needs to have a couple games on the bench. And again, Sheffield United are going to be the same type of team as Burnley, physically strong, not pretty, ugly, bullying us. Is that the right game for Lookman? I'm just putting it out there. And then Steve Reynolds asking, who do you replace him with? Don't be surprised you might see Bobby Decordova-Reid and Cavallero on both flanks on Saturday against Sheffield. Just possibly. I'm just putting it out there.
Yep.
He's got great skill like Colin Fraser's mentioning, but it's too lightweight for me. And, against a physical team like Sheffield United, hopefully he proves me wrong. He gets a hat-trick on Saturday, but he needs to step up. He needs to recover that form he had before Christmas.
Yeah, I hear you, my friend.
We need him. He's an important player.
We do. We absolutely do. And listen, I know it sounds like that we're being negative on some of these players. It's not. It's just that we do need Ademola Lookman to step up. And listen, there were people that wanted him gone from Fulham after the West Ham match, and I was not one of them at all, because I believe in this player. I just want him to be able to finish. He just needs to finish. And if he starts doing that, he'll become the complete player that I think he can be. I just think that he's this close. But I could say the same thing about Ruben Loftus-Cheek.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some of these players need to put the ball in the back of the net. And Ruben Loftus-Cheek, actually, I read an article about him, and he says the goals are coming. And my comment to that is, when are they coming?
Yeah, exactly.
Because honestly, Ruben, we need them. We need your goals. Ademola, we need your goals. We know that you're giving all that you can. Both you guys are giving everything that you can, and we know you're trying, and hopefully the goals will come. That's my point. The goals, we hope, will come because we do need them. And it's funny, Emilio, because I actually really like this team. I like this team because this team gives you effort. 2 seasons ago, I didn't like that team at all. I didn't like the team at all that went down. I think this team is fighting. I just think that they are just lacking that ability to score right now. I think that's what it comes down to. And then when they come up against a team that presses them and bullies them, they're going to have to find a way to fight through that. But other teams have struggled with that as well. So it's not just Fulham.
Yeah. So
you would definitely agree with that. Okay. All right, Emilio, just to finish this up, give me your man of the match. I can't believe we're going back to this.
I'm struggling to think of who man of the match is, to be honest. I thought, Harrison Reed had a good second half performance. If you look at it purely on second half, first half was dire. I thought Reed worked hard. I thought Cavallero looked reasonable when he came on. To be honest, I think I'm struggling. I honestly can't give a man of the match. If I'm going to say probably Harrison Reed, but again, I don't think it wasn't an obvious man of the match. I mean, there was no standout performance for me.
Yeah. What's funny about him, and again, this wasn't his best match, but out of everyone, I could see why you went with Harrison Reed, because again, they struggled in central midfield. They did struggle. They were on top of him. That not just him on Lamina, they were on top of them. So it's difficult to give man of the match. But I understand why you're going with Harrison Reed. I do like the comment from the Burnley supporter giving it to Robbie Brady. I kind of like that. But you know what? Like I said, sometimes you need a little luck, my friend. Sometimes you need that. So when you think about it, when you really look at it, Fulham have lacked a little bit of luck. Well, they got a little bit of luck. They didn't deserve all 3 points, so maybe the luck gave them the point. I don't know. If you look at it,
the luck's turning. Some of those decisions are going our way, so it's long may they continue. And if we get a bit more luck the next few games, then we're still in it. We've still got a chance.
Okay.
It's not the end of the world. Like I said, 1 point of safety.
Okay, now how about this? Because I've seen some comments about Josh Maja. Now, he didn't have any service. There was a comment earlier that said he didn't have any service, but I thought he worked hard there, Emilio. He did have one opportunity that he worked for himself, and it was a shot on target. So maybe a little bit of shout out to Josh Maja. I don't think, as someone said, I don't think he did much wrong. Colin Fraser put that.
He tried hard, good movement. You look at his movement off the ball, pretty good.
Yep.
But he had no service, to be honest. So at the end of the day, he's going to be judged on, opportunities, scoring opportunities, and goals in the back of the net. So at the end of the day, he didn't do much wrong, but his movement's promising. I think he covered a lot of ground today. But offensively, we offered little threat. That was disappointing.
What about Cavallero for his cameo performance?
Yeah, I sort of mentioned that. I thought he had a good when he came on. He looked good. He looked live. That's what I said. Don't be surprised. You might see Decordova-Reid and Cavallero playing either side on Saturday against Sheffield United rather than Lookman. Maybe I'm just putting it out there. Don't be surprised.
Mentions Cav too, so that's very interesting. And I do want to share this because, again, my friend Tony, who I've been going back and forth on Twitter for a very long time, Tony, I'm going to share this because this actually made my day. Okay, I'm going to share this. Good point. Onwards and upwards.
Yeah.
My friend, see, you're with me on that. I'm with you on that. It is a good point. It isn't 2 points dropped in my book, but I understand why people are disappointed that it isn't good enough. But when you go in, like when I went in with the attitude that I just didn't want them to lose, I obviously wanted them to win. It's a good point. It's a good point. Okay. Great stuff, Emilio. Final thoughts before we wrap this up.
Not a game that will stick in the memories for the years to come, but maybe at the end of the season we'll reflect on this game and say, you know what, that was a well-earned point. It's a point that's kept us up. So let's go to Sheffield United on Saturday at home, and we got to man up a bit more. We've got to man up because it's going to be another tough match on Saturday, probably just as tough as today's one. Sheffield United are in form. Just look at they've won away to Man United. In the quarterfinals of the FA Cup, they're starting to pick up some points. So this is not a game we were talking about a month ago. We're absolutely 3 points on the cards. This is just as tough on Saturday.
No, they're going to have to work for it to get all 3 points.
We'll have to earn 3 points on Saturday. So go to the training ground, work on your tactics. Hopefully no one's injured, and give ourselves the best chance to get a result. It's definitely a winnable game, and we know we can win that. And we then go to 21 points, and you know what? Then we can see light at the end of the tunnel. But anything less than a victory on Saturday won't be good enough. So
okay, I get you, my friend. My final thoughts goes back to talking about the players. Listen, if you're watching Cottage Talk and we are critiquing the players, it's just that we want the best. We want the best for our club. We want the best for these players. I will say it again. I believe in these players. I think there's a great player in Ademola Lookman. I do think that there's a great player in Ruben Loftus-Cheek. We just want to see it. That's all. That we just want to see it. We want to see these players fulfill their potential, because right now they have a lot of potential, and we're just looking for them to show it fully with us, and hopefully they will. And there are matches where they can really show it. So anyways, let's wrap this up, my friend. For my co-host, Emilio Danello, I'm Russ Coleman. Thank you as always for watching and listening to Cottage Talk.